Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's see, that's three, one, two, two. Good morning, Mr. Mustafa. Let's see. Good morning, everybody. Again, we'll get started, I don't know, at some point. Um, yeah, I mean, I mean, not gonna, I don't know, we'll see. I don't know. I honestly have been looking at emails, doing other work. I'm not even really focused on the market. I mean, not that I'm not focused on it, but again, there's really not a whole lot to do. We're just in a buy signal until the market changes to bearish. I mean, you know what I mean? Haven't really caught any penny stocks this morning, really any equity this morning. Um, Granted, I woke up at I don't know, like seven, I don't know, seven something, closer to eight this morning, so it didn't really get on the computer till a little later this morning. Yeah, I was out kind of late last night. hmm Yeah, I was helping my sister with her nephew. Got some trouble in paradise, if you will. So I was out late being an uncle. But yeah, so haven't really caught anything. Market's just long. I got a little long on UPRO. It's pretty straightforward. Nothing, again. I mean, like, I would love to wake up and be all excited, but there's not a whole lot to be excited for in terms of the market. Bitcoin's kind of stalling out just a little bit around a $93,000 mark. Not really a big surprise. The current pullback destinations for Bitcoin are currently priced around 89,000 to 87,000 and some change. So that'll happen probably sooner than later at some point. Where did that go? There's- Good morning, Mustafa. Yeah, so, you know. Yeah, this is going to be, I mean, the setup for the pre-market action isn't great. It's not like it's super trending in one direction or the other, so it doesn't necessarily make, one second, doesn't make anchors all that great. Hmm. Right there. Sorry, what are you gonna do? Just email an I like path. Hey, let's take a look at path. That's exciting. First time someone's commented in my YouTube channel with me for me to, kind of do something, and I don't know, seems like a couple weeks. So that's exciting. I finally have something new to do on this channel for a day trade. I see that it started its long buying operation or swing, kind of like, I don't know, it's at least a week ago. Uh, yeah, I mean, maybe. Don't, uh, it's kind of already. I mean, yeah, if the earnings continues, then sure. Like I said, like the things that I would follow, it's like a little beyond what I would normally be looking for. I find myself not being the best at like continuation approaches. Um, but if we were to look at path, right? So this is where I would say the market went positive on path. So that would be your long entry or ideal entry would be breaking out there or say the back test, right? Or it would have been maybe that back test off the SMA. So we are currently how high? We're about 14 or about 13% above, well, 13% from when it went flip positive, if you will. And then the downside risk, well, it's also a gap up this morning, so it's even more. Let's see. Hmm. So the downside risk currently, but it's not because it's going to go up, would be 11%. So again, for a day trade, maybe it's not really breaking out in a sense. But yeah, I mean, I hope. I don't know. I don't know nothing about the company. It's not at what I would call like an entry point for me, but I hope it does well. Um, the only other thing I haven't really checked is the standard deviation on it is 19 there. Mm, yeah, I was gonna say the 1 year channel on Path has been pretty sideways, so it's statistical, it's statistical channel or standard deviation doesn't really have a trend to it. So for the last year, that's been more of a sideways market, not really trending up nor trending down. Um, yeah, let me check one other thing here. So hopefully it does well. What was that? Some economic data probably just came out, pushed the market up a little bit. Again, guys, pretty straightforward. You're just long bias the stock market right now. Swing long that is, and when we're supposed to go back bearish, we'll all know. Yesterday was kind of one of those days where we got some mixed signals from the market, if you will. And when I say mixed, well, I guess we kind of did get some mixed signals, but yeah, so well, we read it pretty well. All right. Now, I wish I wouldn't have closed out my long position on the bottom of this drop yesterday, but then I ended up buying back in anyways near the bottom of that drop once we got some more confirmation. So back on the rally, but my average isn't as good as it would have been, I guess. Well, I mean, maybe not. I mean, I guess it's pretty close because I re-added up on this market move, but yeah, anyways, market's moving good. Market's doing everything you'd expect it to do in a buy signal, right? Just going up. Um, the volatility markets haven't broken out. So, again, the name of the game, if the market's positive, we look up and we will only transition bearish if the VIX breaks out, generally speaking. That hasn't happened yet. Yesterday, the VIX popped up to its breakout level, could not sustain the breakout. So as a result, the market really just was a dip buy. And we used the VIX yesterday, the pop up, the movement on the VIX yesterday, hindsight 2020 was really just used to create a dip buying opportunity on the market. In real time, yesterday morning, if you were to go back to the stream, which you won't, most likely. So I guess there's really no point in me even saying those things. But in yesterday's stream, right in the morning, you could see some of the uncertainty in my voice or in my discussion because there were some mixed signals and we weren't totally sure if the VIX was going to sustain the breakout. I mean, I kind of had a gut feeling it wasn't. I even mentioned that. I'm like, I don't really think we're going to break down. I think it's too early. I think this is just going to ultimately turn into a dip buy. Granted, can't be 100% sure, so we're going to watch the volatility index. We're going to keep our eyes glued on the VVIX. If these things happen, it just turns back into a dip buy, and this is just kind of, we're just using the volatility index to bring the market down. So if we look into yesterday, let's just cover that a little bit. I'm going to throw the SPY down on this bottom chart, or bottom charts, if you will. So we'll just zoom in here on a 5 minute to the right. So market's moving up, cool, great. But we did have this big let's go to a 30 minute real quick. So we did have this big dropout yesterday on the market. Market kind of dropped out pretty good. But yeah, really at that moment, I don't know, there might have been, I have no idea, maybe some data, I don't really, probably or whatever, I don't really care. But anyways, the data threw the market down or whatever threw the market down, cool. That pretty much just allowed us to bring the VIX up. So if you look here, the VIX popped up yesterday like this, doink, right? And all that really was a back test of resistance. So if we were to go to the 30-minute chart, yeah, right here, sorry, let me bring this up. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. So if you look at this, right? So yesterday, what we were trying to decide in real time was the VIX going to gap up and hold above the 30-minute SMA up here, right? And this is going to ultimately turn into a long move. Actually, let me use the drawing tools here. There we go. So yesterday we were trying to decide, is it going to break out, hold above the SMA, and it turns into a breakout on the VIX. As a result, we sell the market down. Or were we going to sustain the market below the SMA? And ultimately, this is just a back test and continuation of the VIX going down. As a result, we're going to dip by the market. Hindsight 2020, it was just a dip by in the market. But in the real time, those are the decisions you're trying to make for yourself. You know what the results can be, but it's determining in the real time how and what we're actually going to do is really what matters, right? So that was kind of the game we played yesterday was, No, dang it, I don't want to do that. It was basically is the VIX, just going into a bounce, or is it, going into a breakdown or continuation down? I would like to clear the drawing tools. How do I do that? It's been so long. I don't know. Sure. Hmm. So yeah, that's that. So now if you zoom out, right? If you zoom way out, what does it look like? Well, all this is that the VIX is broken down and it's below the SMA, so it's a downtrend. For the past couple days, we've pretty much creeped the VIX back up to the SMA trend where it could have broken out into an uptrend, but we just sustained and continued the downtrend, right? So what you've seen over the past couple days on the market is what? If you go look at the market, all you've really gotten for the past couple days, if I go to a third, oh, we're on a 30 minute, yeah. Now, if you look over the market the past couple days, or past week to days, all we've done is gone up, and then we've kind of done a little bit of a dip as we reset the VIX back to resistance. Yesterday was the day where we're like, are we going to hold? Are we not? Are we going to hold? Is it going to be a dip buy? And then, so what happens? The VIX rejects resistance on its trend, does not confirm a breakout. As a result, it's just a breakdown continuation on the VIX, which means it's a long on the market, right? So that's pretty much what we did yesterday and for the past couple days. We reset the volatility index. We reset the markets back to resistances and supports. Us as the market decided it was not time to break the market down, nor was it time to break the VIX out into a buy signal. As a result, we continue the long press on the market. The market's had enough time to decide over the past couple days that we're not ready to break down, so the market's now moving higher. So that's pretty much what we did for the past couple days. We reset the markets. We played a game of are we going to break it down? Or are we not? And as a result, the markets collectively come together and said we're not going to break it down. So now we're going for the continuation push after this little short-term pullback consolidation top for the past couple of days. That's it. Cheers. So again, like I said, that's why in yesterday's stream I said, "Hey guys, I bought back a little bit of UPRO. I sold some up on the day trade bounce, and now I'm just holding a little bit, right?" And that's because yesterday I could read after enough time that I assumed this would be yesterday, that little snap in the market isn't going to result in a breakdown. It's just going to kickstart a dip buy on the market. So that's why I said we would relong yesterday. We did relong, etc. So now you're going to stay long the markets until the market tells you otherwise, which would be what? Does anybody know when we would shift bearish on the market? One second, phone call coming in. I'll be back. Don't go nowhere. Okay, I'm back on. Sorry, Mustafa, path below 50 SMA in 30 minutes. Really? I feel like that's not right, but let me check. Path? Unless that's what you're referring to, I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't have path below the 30-minute SMA currently. It would be above, unless they're referring to something different there. Um, yeah, I'll take a quick. So there's a couple things that maybe started. Damn it, I knew it. Well, I would say there might be a couple things that are kind of moving. I see some new stuff on the scanner, but probably not. Oh, figures. Wait, did I get a dip buy on that? Hold on. I did have some buy orders out for TIGR, which I did get filled on one of the orders, but not the other one. So I actually did get a position on TIGR down at 934. The stock's now at 962, so that's not bad. I just kind of remembered that. I put out some buy orders on it. So it puts me up 3% on that play. I'm also down 6% on a JXG this morning. So I took a couple small random positions just to see if I could get some continuation on the day on some of these things because I've been kind of lackluster the few days. So I kind of just decreased position size, scattered some bets this morning across a couple different things because I noticed myself not catching plays the past couple days. So I'm like, yeah, let's just scatter some bets, pick a few, limited risk, and if one of them works out decent, then okay. But it seemed like the past couple days I've just been a little late to things. So, anyways, yeah, but I can't say that this morning so far when I scanned through stuff like nothing was really breaking out the way I'd like. This BIOA, I mean like realistically this would have been a good potential trade. I don't know, let's double check. Wait, is this the right screen? I don't even know. Um I mean, yeah, this one just kind of started moving, but the long kind of started yesterday. Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm still a little late. But if you look at this BOA, or is that it? BIOA, this is just another example of how, right? This is the 30-minute 50 SMA. So market over 30-minute 50 SMA, hold, and there's your long, right? So remember, like those are all algorithms, right? Like, would you know yesterday when this broke over the 30-minute that algorithms were going to hold it here and then manipulate it into today? No, you don't know that. That's computer stuff. But you do know that the uptrend starts over the 30-minute, right? So that was it's a 21% gain from yesterday's uptrend start on that stock alone. But anyways, so um below that's right, Mustafa. Sorry, I forgot about the question I asked. Yes, the market is bearish below the 30-minute. Yes, on the market. Yes, when the market goes below the 30-minute 50 SMA, yes, the market is bearish. What is the other way that we would look to be bearish the market if it's not the 50 SMA on the market itself? And like, see, that's another thing too. Like QCLS, I should have bought a little bit on that stock yesterday, and for some reason I just didn't. I don't know. See, like that's another thing. I just haven't been totally in it these past couple weeks, it seems like, but it's all right. We'll get there. We get there. Mm. I could, mm, I don't know. That could get interesting. Steve, correct. VIX, that's another one. So those are pretty much the two reasons that you're gonna basically be bearish the market. Yeah, those are the two reasons. If the market goes negative, you can be bearish. If the VIX goes positive, you can be bearish. Otherwise, we're gonna grind and rally the market out. All right. So obviously, you guys already know that the news is probably positive this morning. You know what I mean? Because obviously, since the market's been going up for the past couple days, then the market's most likely going to be positive. I don't know what they're talking about, but I just know it will be positive, most likely. So, stock market news today. So, what are the peoples telling us? Um, Nasdaq futures are steady as Wall Street cements in something. I don't know. Dow closes 400 points higher as ADP jobs data strengthens the Fed rate cut hopes. Stock market, something, Dow 400 points up, stocks rise, dollar set for 10-day losing streak as investors, something funds, something, something. Um, Dow Jones leads stock market rally. Stock market closes on doorstep of record territory. U.S. stock market, street stocks rise, something, uh, stocks gain, etc. So the news is following our plays perfectly as we would expect. So that's good. News is positive while the market is positive. Who would have thought? Hmm. Weird. Which one did he try? Does he try to do like right 6 months of like six? What is going on here, computer? There we go. Oh my gosh. Oh, Snikes. Where did my YouTube stream go? There it is. Perfect. Oh yeah, we are booming, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my Lord. Why so many phone calls? Hold on. Another phone call. God dang it. Sorry, I had my mic muted. That's what happens when you have all these dumb phone calls coming in, and then you mute your mic, and then you forget to unmute it, and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, all I went on to say was we just don't have a confirmed breakdown in the market yet. You know, it's kind of moving down, but there's no confirmation the market has broken down ultimately. So, yeah, there's that. Let's take a look at SPX real quick. I mean, SPX still over 50 SMA, so again, no confirmation of a breakdown. Again, doesn't mean that the market won't move down. Obviously, just saying there's no confirmation of an actual breakdown. So, yep, there's that. There's that. So, do with that information whatever you want. Again, we did, well, not really because you didn't hear me, but basically, if the market continues to roll, the Magnificent Seven continue to underperform. We're not going to see the market move bullish right now, even though we're in a buy signal. Right? So look at the market. This is what we always explain. There's only really three ways a market's, well, yeah. There's three ways a market goes down. It enters a sell signal, the VIX breaks out, or you have underperformance on your mega cap stocks, typically, or the general advancing declining issues of the market. Today, the advancing declining issues of the market are not really bullish. You've had your Magnificent Seven open up, sell off, and then roll, right? You've had your S&P issues pop up and then just basically trade flat to down, and you've had a little bit of movement up on your issues for the New York Stock Exchange. So we're not getting an extremely bullish open on equities. They're not getting bought. They're getting kind of sold off, right? So that selling off on equities right now is increasing the VIX up to the price of $16.50 or so, 16.48. The breakout for the VVIX is going to be 19 or $92.38, right? So right now we've decreased equities enough on the day that it's pulling the markets back, right, etc. But there's not a true expression of fear in the markets yet. Let me bring up VVIX and VIX. So this is already drawn out. When I was muted, you guys couldn't hear me talking, but you can see how I've drawn on this chart pretty much exactly where the VIX is going to go, because that's just what we do. We just make drawings and mark a goeth to our drawing, kind of. But yeah, so that right there is the 15 minute, 1646. A successful 5 minute transition goes from here basically to here. And yeah, well, let me come down to the VVIX. So the VVIX is right there. Come on, there you go. This is the break level, right? So VVIX is coming into its over under. If this were to start breaking out, there would be that would suggest to us that some of the options players are starting to hedge for volatility. Um, does it mean that volatility is truly expressed in the market? That's all going to be dependent on the VIX actually breaking out. But yeah, ultimately, what we have is a little bit of selling in the market, not enough that's convinced the market we should just be going on a full-fledged breakdown. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it. VIX coming to 50, 50. It's 50 30, man. I have the VIX coming to its 15-minute trend first, which would be about $16.46. I only look for the VIX to go to the 30-minute trend once it's confirmed the 15-minute. That's generally the way the algorithms kind of tend to work is above the 5 minute transitions 15, above the 15 transitions 30. Obviously, on the way to a 30, you'd hit a 20, a 25, a 17, an 18, a 19, etc. But nonetheless, 5 goes 15, 15 goes 30, 30 goes 1 hour, etc. 1 hour, 4 hour, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so I don't have it running into that. Now, if you're looking at the pre-market systems, then yeah, you see it on the pre-market system right there, right? So that's another one we do pay attention to. I am less fond of pre-market SMAs than I am the regular trading hours SMAs. Regular trading hour SMAs are better than after hours SMAs, because after hours SMAs include price action that is limited volume, whereas regular trading hours SMAs only calculate the highest volume trading of the day, which is from open to close. So they tend to be a little bit more accurate, a little bit more precise, and algorithms watch them a little more, in my opinion. So, like right here, obviously. Now, that being said, we do pay attention to the pre-market 30 minute. That I generally, my rule for that one is pretty much if we start to go positive, the pre-market 30 minute, then we're most likely going to be going for the regular trading hours 30 minute. Same thing with the SPY. If the SPY starts to transition below its after hours 30 minutes, then we're going to be looking to transition the market to its regular trading hours 30 minutes, etc. Right. Um, so nonetheless, yeah, market's still rolling down a little bit. As you can see, look at the market. Let's look at the New York Stock Exchange. Are these issues bullish or bearish? Those are bearish. So why is the market going to go up? Probably not, right? Look at these issues right here. These are the Magnificent Seven issues. This is pretty much how the market is controlled with these handful of stocks. Are these going up? Not really. So market's probably not going to go up. Okay. Let's go over here and look at the issues on the S&P. All right, collectively, are these going up? No, they're not. So market's not going to go up. Okay, that makes sense. So what we're seeing is enough liquidation across the markets on all advancing declining issues, so much so that it's allowing us A, to pull the market back, but B, to increase the volatility index. All right, so there's a good chance we'll even see this market on the SPY drop down here to the 50 SMA. That's a logical target, or coming into, if you will. So here is the regular, or well, not regular, but pre-market 30, regular trading hours down to, so that was the last buy move. That's interesting. That's a good level to watch. And then here, right to there. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, arguably, oh, wait 1 second. Sorry. We just expressed, so yeah, I would say some people on the VVIX are getting a little nervous now. All right, so 1 second. 1 second. Let me bring this up. Again, a lot going on today. Like I said, you hear me talking a little bit more today because the market is in an important area where we're starting to see the volatility index, VVIX, interacting with specific levels that are important. All right, so now what we're starting to see here is we're starting to see a little bit of hedging on the markets. We already saw it a little bit this morning, but it's a little bit more elevated now in the sense that you can see, look at this, ready? See how the market is starting to try on the VVIX to come up and through that SMA. That's telling us that there's some people behind the scenes that are starting to hedge volatility, right? And look at the market. It's been kind of a steady stair step down all morning. So we're definitely seeing some increased volatility coming into the market now, which basically means caution. All right. Um, Now, though we're seeing a little bit of increased volatility in the markets, which is caution to down, it's still not enough to trigger expression of fear in the market yet. So real ready. So here is the 1669 price. Essentially, that is going to be the next target up on the VIX today, as long as this breakout on the 15-minute works. So like right now, we're on the 15-minute trend. Also some other stuff. So right now, this is our algorithmic resistance over under. So if we zoom in here, this is where we'd assume that in real time algorithms are talking, right? So we've run the VIX up where to the 15 minutes. So now we're looking at 15-minute algorithms talking, right? If those 15-minute algorithms basically say we don't want to hold resistance, we want to continue the push, then we will break this out and we will go here. So this is how the game is set up right now. It's either a pullback here or a breakout here to next target. Right? Which sounds kind of dumb when you say it. It's like, oh, market can go up and down. Well, yeah, pretty much. But as far as the simple moving averages go, this is the 15-minute resistance over under on the VIX. You can see if you look at the SPY, see like that, boom. That's computers, guys. That's all computer right there. You see how the if you look at the market right now, it's got like a little bounce going on. So if we were to look at the SPY real quick, see how it's starting to bounce a little bit. That's because in real time algorithms and people, I didn't trade that personally. But like that would have been a scalpable long bottom on the market via using the volatility index SMA system, right? So we would be able to read, okay, the long move to the 15-minute chart is complete. So the sell move on the market as it relates to the 15-minute trend is complete. Resistance can come in here on the 15 minute for the VIX. As a result, we can use it as a tradable scalp long on the market. All right, that's one option you have as far as strategy. So yeah, like I said, anyways, we've dropped the market out, but we haven't really expressed true fear. Like I'm not really scared. The market isn't really scared right now. Could it progress in a way that makes us fearful? Sure, but we're not there yet. So when you see this drop today, don't get scared. Don't be like, oh my gosh, the world's gonna end. It could, but it hasn't happened yet. All right. So just be chill. Z- Daddy chill. Daddy chill. What the hell is even that? Daddy chill. I don't know if you guys have seen that. That's a funny movie or a funny video on the internet. So, I'm just gonna sit here and basically do probably not a whole lot. We'll see. Again, I still have some swing long on the market. If in the event fear gets expressed in the market, then I'll probably take that off and reevaluate, but no need for right now. How's Bitcoin doing? Oh no, Bitcoin, why are you going down, dude? We gotta call this thing shitcoin soon. So, well, we know why it's going down because it's going to pull back to our targets most likely. And if it doesn't pull back now, it's just going to hit them later. You guys already know. Look at it. Like literally. Let me put a little smiley face in there. In there. Yee. Okay. All right. So what do we got? Is ready? See how the VIX is now crept up to the 15-minute chart. It's completed its first tag algorithmic resistance over under blah blah blah. Now if it breaks out, it can arguably go up to $16.70, completing the 30-minute back test long operation. Let's go look down here. VVI Schmex. All right, so you see how the VVIX is kind of starting to break out a little bit, right? It's crept over. That means arguably there's a little tailwind risk in the market. You can see here, here's your break. Oh, kind of, maybe. 1 second. There's your break. There's your back test. First 1 minute attempt away, right there. I would not consider that to be like sealing the deal, but we are transitioning over. And you can even see how they set up a cup and handle. Like you can even see patterns. This is pretty much it. When you have the right algorithm levels, you will find patterns. Look at here's a cup, here's a handle, and there's your break, and there's your back test, right? Or you could just be like, here's a flag pattern, and we're using the SMA level as your flat top, right? So, like we said, once you find true algorithm levels, you will see patterns that are actually correct. All right. Not that I use patterns, but the more you find the correct algos, the more patterning you end up seeing, that's like actually somewhat legitimate. See, like a lot of people, and I used to do the same thing, right? We'd see a market, like a stock goes up, has a big move up, and then it starts to consolidate and do something like this for like a day or two. You're like, all right, we're creating a flag pattern, and then it's like shit on you, right? Versus something like this that's really it no one is even paying attention to it. It's coming into a 15-minute or a 30-minute algorithm level, and there's a bull flag taking place below your 30-minute algorithm, bullish bearish transition point, right? So nonetheless. Fun stuff. Fun stuff. Do not be scared, my children. Do not be scared. Oh yeah, this is also what we just hit. I didn't really mention it, but this is a 50 SMA volume weighted average price. It's essentially used as a bottom picking support at times. And when I say that, I mean as like in a tradable sense. I don't really trust it here today that much, just with the way the price action is developed. The price action has what I would call like a pretty good stair step down for the moment, so that's a little sketch, but nonetheless, patterns and the way the markets look are one thing and what they do is another. But bottom line, we also use this price point, this yellow line, as a what do we call as a 50 SMA VWAP. So we've already had our little counter pops off of it. Like I said, I'm not really fond of long bias movement right now in the market, and that's mainly because we're starting to see that tailwind risk indicator creeping up. So we're just kind of like, let's just let the market trail down, figure itself out, blah, blah, blah. Hmm, 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 hmm. Crazy, 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 crazy. Fractals and schmactals. Hmm. Oh boy. Tired. Again, it's a pretty simple day. We just, well, I mean, honestly, it seems like every day these days is relatively simple. And that's kind of the one thing is like once you follow the system for so long, it's just the same thing over and over. So you just start to get a little better at reading it. Now, I just want to make sure we're clear on this next thingy. All right, so do I know for sure? No. But one thing I do know is if we do see slash take the market today down to the 50 SMA, that is what's going to result in the VIX achieving the move up to its 30 minutes. So generally the market works like that. If the VIX goes to its 30 minute, the SPY will drop to its 30 minute. If the SPY drops to its 30 minute, the VIX is going to its 30 minute, which gives us the price targets of the market, if you will, right? So we're not kind of so it's not that we don't understand, right? So when we look at this chart here, this is pretty much it. If we get a true acceptance over this 15 minute and we break out and arguably VIX goes here up to 1669, that will most likely result in us seeing the price of the stock market on the SPX down to 6,835, and we will see SPY down towards 682.05. Granted, right now we're dealing with the 50 SMA volume weighted average price support buy point as defined by the VWAP on the screen and the yellow line at 68285. So we're currently supporting this level right now. So we will not go to the 50 SMA yet, etc. Okay? In the event the VIX does not break out of its 30-minute trend, or sorry, its 15-minute trend, and it turns into a 15-minute top, then this is just going to become the bottom for the stock market for the moment today, right? So it's only if we clear the 15-minute and go 30, we continue to pull the market down, arguably. If we reject 15-minute, which we're kind of doing right now, you get what you get right now, which is the market is trying to bounce, right? That's because right now we haven't broken out the 15-minute. Now, arguably, too, if you look at some of the market internals have stopped going down for the second, right? You have flat action on the Mag 7. You kind of have a little bit of long movement that just took place on the SPY and some long movement flat the NYC. So we're not like seeing extreme bullishness in the market, but it's just not quite enough to keep selling the market down in this moment, right? Especially when you have green candles being printed on the Magnificent Seven. So what do we get? We got this little price action bottom right here. Okay. So ultimately, and again, I'm not a biggest fan of the support. So if we do start to clear below 682.84 on the market, that's what could actually lead to a little bit more selling off on the day. So it's kind of just dependent on that price point for the moment. If we actually start to get below today's lows, that could definitely trigger a little bit more selling into the market. So we will see. Mm-mm. So, market still holding 50 SMA support, not bad. Well, not 50 SMA support, 50 SMA VWAP support. Again, that's a tactic that pretty much no one on the planet uses but us. Literally. If you search the internet, you're probably not going to find anyone who teaches that or does that. I can almost be certain of that. So, again, that's basically a support level that no retail trader would ever think to use or ever look at. When I say no retail trader, I mean maybe like us seven here would think of it, but nobody else. We'll arguably be here for it. Yeah, yeah, that's right. I don't even know how that happened. I think I accidentally clicked that. Um, but anyways. Yeah, so I was gonna say I'm getting ready to head out here. I got some rental property stuff to do today. Yeah, so long story short, market's still positive. When it breaks down, we'll be here for it. You'll know why. The only reasons the market ever really goes bearish is if the VIX breaks out, expresses fear into the market, and or if the SPY breaks down and just goes into a sell signal. Neither of which have happened, so you still basically run the risk of this bounce just getting bought up until we really start to express that fear in the market.